Welcome to
Half Past Cha.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I know.
But today is going to be a good day. I have to get my laptop.
I was already prepared.
Yeah,
but it's
you're
fine.
always prepared.
As you can see, I got very dressed up for this episode. I told Suketu I'm going to go upstairs and get dressed because I've had my pajamas on all day.
Yeah.
Had a very lazy Saturday.
Well,
And I came down with this, so...
that's what you're supposed to do on a Saturday. You're not supposed to do anything.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
anyways, today we are going to be talking about having a bad day and taking it out on your significant other. So I'm going to get started with that intro, which this is a husband and wife podcast talking about life and our experiences being married, along with being an interracial couple.
Mm-hmm.
Our podcast is called Half Past Cha because we are currently drinking cha.
Tea.
What we call half past cha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like, 4:30. It's 4:30. Right now it's almost 3:30. In a way, that's called half past cha. Anyways.
It can mean whatever it's pretty open to interpretation. Just let it mean whatever you want it to mean.
We still don't have a real sponsor, so make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, either at Suketu Patel, at Suketu V Patel, or Hallie G Patel. So make sure you give us a 5-star rating if you are watching on Spotify or Apple Podcast or listening. But make sure you give us a like if you're watching on YouTube. Now, before we get fully started, Hallie,
Okay.
somebody actually used the Q&A section. So we have a Q&A section in Spotify at the very bottom of the podcast, whatever episode you're listening to. You can ask us a question or just make a comment, do whatever you want. But somebody said, we haven't had like anybody say anything, but we found one.
Woo!
And they said, my boyfriend introduced me to your podcast and we've been watching since and enjoying it. He's also Indian and I'm American, so your videos are very relatable. Feel better, Hallie. I'm guessing that's after the sick podcast. The 1 year sick. So anyways, thanks for Hannah. Her name is Hannah.
Thank you.
Thank you for chatting with us for a little bit.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's amazing. People use that feature. I didn't even know that was there. That sounds terrible.
We do have a Q&A feature on Spotify.
That is so cool.
And we also have comments on YouTube, so you can chat with us either way.
Mm-hmm.
We always mention almost every single comment or reply to every single comment, so take advantage of that. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about having a bad day individually and how that can affect your relationship with your significant other. Obviously, we're married, we've been together a while, and we've had our run of bad days. I would say this is a very normal for couples. It can even happen with your friends, it can happen with your family members. Like if you're just not having a good day, you may get into an argument with somebody when you honestly don't need to get into an argument with them.
Mm-hmm. It can just happen because you're just upset.
Yeah. We're specifically covering what happens in relationships and what our experiences are in this situation.
Yeah.
But Hallie can talk a little more about it.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, too, yes, we've had bad days. We've also had really amazing days. In all of our relationship, we've been together for almost 8 years total, which is a long time. So that means, yes, we've seen each other at our best, and we've seen each other definitely at our worst.
Yes.
And that just tends to happen with the person that you're closest to. We could literally die tomorrow, which is crazy, but it's true. And the main point that I want to make through all of this is that really, life is too short to be affected and take it out on those that you love with these bad days that we have. And, it's always our mindset that we have to change in order to move on or, ultimately it can make or break us because of how we let it affect us. And I have definitely let it affect me and our relationship way too many times. And I think it's fair to say you have too.
I don't know about that.
Because nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. It happens.
I've definitely done that more so than Hallie's done that.
Well, and it happens it can just happen. It's not like you can always help it. Just sometimes, let's say, for example, I'm very tired. I've had a very long day at work. Suketu asks me too many questions and I just get annoyed. Or, something bad happens to me in whatever way and I like to upset Suketu with me. So that just happens.
I think that, yeah.
And it needs to be normalized because everybody does it. It's just you need to sometimes learn to handle it better, or maybe keep your mouth shut, Suketu.
All right. We'll get to the solutions at the end, but
Yes.
we're going to be talking about our experiences first.
Yes. So, Suketu, I have some questions for you.
I'm ready.
And this is just going to kind of flow with the episode here. How often would you say that you have a bad day?
I would say I have at least one bad day a week. That's like minimum. It's going to happen once a week.
Okay. And when are some times maybe that you feel like you do have a bad day?
I would say whenever something doesn't go my way, like if something just doesn't go my way, like I had some plan and that plan doesn't go through or something gets interrupted, then my day starts to decline a little bit.
Yeah, I get that. And I mean, I guess other times too that I'm thinking, or if there's too much going on, you feel overwhelmed or stressed or like something.
Yeah. When we can't manage our time properly is when I get frustrated.
Yes. Lots of external factors, sometimes things that you cannot control that can really affect your day and your mood, all that stuff. And then that will affect your relationship sometimes.
How many times do you have bad days?
I don't know. I would say, well, I had one yesterday.
Yeah, you did.
Actually, it's funny because as we were planning all of this out and everything, I was getting upset. I had a part of a rough day, like a half day. Let's say that. I had one of those, and I was taking it out on Suketu. And in my head, I'm thinking, we're putting all this together, and I'm really letting this happen right now. This is actually kind of interesting because I can talk about this actually. So, it's just interesting how it works out that way. Obviously, I didn't plan it. You don't really ever plan for bad things to happen, bad days. You don't just wake up and say, oh, I'm going to be in a bad mood today. But I don't know. I think yesterday, it's been a long work week. We can get to it later. I had a long work week. I've just been tired. I've had mono. I've not been on my regular schedule. I felt kind of, I don't know,
I think the days that we don't do anything are the days that can get frustrating. Like even like days that when we're busy, I feel like it's not like we don't have time to.
You don't have time to think about it.
We don't have time to like think and be like, oh, I'm mad right now. But like when we don't do anything, which we haven't been doing anything since we've been back in India besides work. So we've just been working and doing daily tasks, but that's giving us like we haven't been working out as much. We haven't been keeping ourselves
on our routine.
Yeah, we haven't been on our routine. So I think
that's a big part of it.
Causes us to sit and think for a little too long, and then overthinking starts happening. I don't know. That's how I see it. When you start overthinking, you just start to get a little tense, and your brain starts thinking about things that really don't matter, and it causes arguments, I feel like.
Well, yeah, naturally everyone overthinks. I mean, it just happens. You can't really control it.
Yeah.
And especially, like you said, since we've been back, I don't know, you've been traveling like crazy. I have been, which is funny because we just talked about the honeymoon phase in our relationship. We're still in that, but...
Yeah, I still am in it.
Yeah, so, but what I'm trying to say is that we haven't been in our normal routines at all ever since we've been back. Even in India for 2 weeks, our whole schedules were thrown off and everything was different. And for, about, I don't know, like 4 or 5 weeks now, everything's been different because we haven't been doing as much in the sense that we normally would. It's been very depressing in Indiana. It's been very windy and cold and rainy and not sunny for like the past week, which that just affects me. I know it does.
Yes, it's pretty terrible here.
And so it's like we've been stuck inside. I've still been kind of sickly. I'm resting, Everything's different. And I think that maybe is starting to take a little bit of a toll on me, but I'm dealing with it. But anyways, next question, K2. Do you feel like you ever let those bad days that you have affect our relationship?
Yes, because...
My next question was why, so go on.
Yes, I do let it affect me because in those situations it's like, who am I going to take it out on? Who else is there? I can't take it out on Sylvie. She won't talk back to me. So...
Yeah.
Anyways, it's the worst because the person who is most connected to you, which is your significant other, they're the easiest to take everything out on, even though it sounds really bad.
Well, they're just there, you know.
You just know exactly how to push their buttons.
Oh, yeah.
And so subconsciously, without even thinking, you will do that. Like you will take it out on your significant other, unless you just think about it a little bit. But I don't usually think enough, ever. So.
Well, and that's how we're different in our relationship, too. Definitely we have different communication styles and different ways of going about solving problems and dealing with those kinds of things, dealing with issues. I am definitely the kind of person that likes to take their time, think it through a little bit, just breathe, make sure that I hate having conversations if I'm upset. I want to be able to have a little bit of time to myself just to think things through, to calm down. And then we come together and we talk about it because I never want to take it out on you, which I never want to. I have. And there still will be days that I do because, you can only do so much. But Suketu, your style is a little different, which I know there are people that are probably they do the same thing that I do. There are going to be some people. Suketu, you want to describe what
I think
you
it's the guys just like to figure it out right away, right? So like in terms of taking it out on you, it's not like, okay, when I'm having a bad day, I'm like, I go to you to solve it, like as if you can solve that problem. Immediately. I'm like, why am I having a bad day? Let's fix this. Let's solve this. And then me doing that gets me more frustrated. Even though I'm not frustrated towards you, it's gonna feel like the frustration is coming out on you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so anyways, that's like the whole question of what the topic is today.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about how each person feels in this situation. But the whole point is how we kind of take it out on each other in those days that aren't the best. Right, Hallie?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I am trying to just maybe break down a little bit why this can happen. And I think, well, I can speak for me specifically. I hate being alone and how I'm feeling. Maybe subconsciously the reason is that if Suketu's happy, I can, in my head, I'm like, why am I having a bad day and he's having a great day? Which sounds horrible, I know, but misery loves company, does it not?
I guess so. I guess so.
Maybe that's it. We're going to dive into it, but first we're going to take a rapid fire this or that edition.
So first I'm going to do 1 through 6, Hallie, and then you do 7 through 12. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Netflix or Hulu?
Hulu.
Sushi or pizza?
Pizza.
Long hair or short hair?
Long hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Even on me?
Oh, I'm thinking about me.
Of course you are. What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know. Jeez.
I'm just kidding. Okay. Sweet or savory?
This year, I've been savory.
Okay. Tacos or burritos?
Tacos.
3-day weekend every weekend or 1 week off every month?
1 week off every month.
Really? That'd be crazy, though.
Well,
get a whole week off. That would be kind of crazy.
That would be really nice.
But it'd be nice to get... Think about it. If you get 3-day weekend every week, that's 4 days off. Versus 1 week off every month is 5 days off.
Yeah.
So it honestly is better for 1 week. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Yes. I'm glad we broke that down because I was so confused. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You did make the right decision. You always make the right decision.
All right, so my turn?
Yes.
Dress up or dress down?
Dress up. Duh.
Brunch or dessert? That's an interesting
Brunch.
All right. Drama or comedy movie?
Comedy.
Would you rather hire a chef or a house cleaner? You've already got that right here.
House cleaner.
Like you do any of the cleaning?
Well,
Are you
listen,
kidding me? Oh
you're
my
the
God.
chef.
Yes, and the cleaner.
I clean the house too.
You do the laundry.
Hey, now we
I
still haven't started it.
I appreciate it. All right, hugs or kisses? Oh.
Kisses.
Okay, you put this one in here. Romance or fun?
Both. Romance.
Wow.
Just kidding. Fun.
What?
Fun. I'd rather have fun. Anyways.
Okay, now we're going to move on to how does each person feel in this situation. With that, we're going to be getting both perspectives and talking about it. And I think I can speak for us both that during these hard days, bad days, whatever, it's very hard on us both because we love each other so much, and it's hard to know that you can hurt the person that you're closest to because you don't really intend to. You know, you don't want to be that person. You don't want to say, "Oh, I'm going to make sure Suketu has a terrible day today." Mm-hmm. And because I'm so upset, I can't wait to make him upset too. Like you don't mean to do that. It just can happen.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like you can't let things that happen at work. I think this relates to a lot of people is work can be really stressful.
Yes.
And then you bring that stress home. Even if you're working from home, then that stress just stays home.
And I can sense that from you.
And
I
so,
can sense that he's in a weird mood, and then I'm like, oh, well, if he's in a weird mood, I'm going to be in a weird mood.
Exactly. And so, like, the hardest part about relationships and trying to be on the same wavelength is the ability to control that feeling of don't take your anger out, don't take your bad feelings, especially when it relates to work. Don't take those out and don't bring them to home. Like, don't bring them home.
I think one example sometimes that can kind of irk you maybe if you're having a rough day. Like example. Let's say you're upstairs where we work from home. You're upstairs. It's 5:00. You're done for the day. Sometimes, and you come downstairs and I start asking you instantly a bunch of questions. There have been times where I can tell that it drives you crazy and it's really hard for you to keep it together in a way. Yeah. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's just like when I'm doing something and then that thing that I'm doing gets interrupted.
Oh, man.
I just don't know how to control myself, okay? And sometimes I'll say things that I don't mean, and that's all I got to say to that. I'm not going to talk anymore on that.
And it's hard. Oh, my gosh. It's so hard, too, because there have been so many times where we've had dumb little disagreements, and I'm like, I could keep my mouth shut. I really could. I could be the bigger person. But
what happens?
I can't help it.
That mouth stays wide open, people.
Okay. So I want to go back to our types of communication styles because, like I said, I try my best to take some time and compose myself, but Suketu doesn't always give me that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. I'm just always there.
Well, that's just him. His style, you are always there. I mean, we do live together too, but Suketu's style definitely is, let's figure this problem out right now. Let's fix it. Let's make it better for you. What can we do? And there's not always something you can do. Like, we've had some interesting things happen, in the last couple of months, and it's just like, we're trying our best, but there's not always something that you can do to fix it. And you just have to come to an understanding between the two of us, like, hey, we're going to have bad days. Things are going to be crazy, but we just need to stick together as a team because we are a team above all else.
Yes.
And just deal with it.
Yes.
And, whatever it is, we're together. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll get over it. It'll be fine.
And the biggest thing that we had to deal with in terms of getting irritated with each other was when we were building this house.
Oh, my goodness.
I was stressed, especially about money. We had just, we hadn't even gotten married yet. We had started working full time for the first time, and we were making money. But when you are seeing that money go straight into a house, right at the very
You're not
beginning,
seeing it actually stay with you,
and it just keeps going into the house, and then I was stressed. Oh, we got to buy furniture. Oh my God, we got to do home insurance.
and I was paying off my student loans too. So it's like my loans, this house. And then there were some things in our wedding that we paid for as well. So it was like...
And we were getting married on top of that.
Yeah.
So, like, you see, there was so much happening. I think this was, like, the testament of our relationship.
Oh, my gosh. That was so tough.
Trying to okay, there was like, I don't think we went like a few days without a bigger argument during these times, just because like we were both so stressed out and I could not control the feeling I had of not having money.
Oh my gosh.
I just couldn't control it. I couldn't control. I was like, what if something happens? If something happens, I'm dead. Like we literally had nothing at a period of time when we got the house, and I was like, it was just scary for me to make sure that we would be okay.
We're okay.
I know,
We were
but
gonna
it was
be okay.
scary.
And that was something I tried. So that was another part of like all these feelings we were having back then. Is I was trying so hard to convey to Suketu, we are going to be just fine. We planned out for how much money, like how much this house is going to cost, how much our furniture. We have, budgets in mind, and we're smart about that. We always keep that in mind. And it's like, as long as you're trying, as long as you're aware of what you're spending, what you're doing, whatever, everything's going to turn out to be okay.
See, I didn't know that at the time, though. Like, I just realized...
We were young, man.
Like,
not that much young.
The only concern that I had was, I don't have any money to do things that I would need to do. Like, that was my own
We
concern.
lived with our parents. We were fine.
For me, it was just about having enough to provide for Hallie. I don't know if that makes any sense. But,
It does.
Trying to make sure that we are in a good situation, and if something bad happens, then we are just gonna be in trouble. That's what I was thinking. So I always get stressed out in the sense, like, if I don't have enough with me at the time, then I can't control it. I don't know what it is.
Well, I still remember this time too, and you're right. It was truly the biggest, oh my gosh, test of our relationship at the time, and I'm sure, there are going to be more. Eventually we'll have children. Eventually, so many other things will be going on. But it was oh my gosh, it was so hard. And it was so hard. And I've talked to a few other couples to be married or, going through a significant life change, which that's what it was. We were leaving home. We were building a house. We were having 2 weddings. 2. I think half of that is enough to stress anyone out. And at the time, too, I was also coming back to starting a new job, pretty much. Just so many big things were happening. Those are so many significant life changes that we were going through in such a short amount of time. I mean, a year is not a long time. But it's like the second that we signed for this house, everything changed. Our relationship seemed really different in a lot of ways, and I think now back at that, and it's just, we were maturing in a lot of ways, and it's crazy that whole year happened, and the arguments that we had, and the times that we took it out on each other, and it was nuts. It was truly just a test to our relationship. But anyways, there have been a lot of couples that I've met, and they've gone through this exact same thing. And they're like, we just have arguments for no reason, and everything he says or everything she says is like, why would you say that? Why would you not think before you speak? certain things like that. But again, going through major stressors in life like this can make you act crazy, act like you just are so different than you normally are.
I kind of explained how I felt. I was stressed about money. I just felt like that we weren't on the same wavelength in that sense. It was just like I cared about something so much, and in my head it's like, why doesn't Hallie care about this something as much as I do?
Mm-hmm. And so that upset you.
So that made me take it out on Hallie. So that was what's happening in my head, and I want Hallie to explain what was happening in your head as this was happening.
So are we talking specifically about that year? Okay,
yeah, that year.
I mean, there are other scenarios, but I think this one's very significant because it also really defined our relationship. Now, so, I felt very sad, I think, most of the time, because I felt for a long time, we're not connected, we're not on the same level, we're not wanting the same, or we are wanting the same things, but in very different ways, in that obviously, if you see somebody that you're very close with, if you see your significant other very stressed out about things, naturally it's going to stress you out too. But I wasn't stressed to the extent that you were, and I think maybe that, like you said, that just bothered you, that I wasn't worried about it. But I was the one trying to stay positive about it,
And
like
in my head,
Suketu.
I don't see Hallie being positive. I see Hallie not caring. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's how I see it in my head.
When it's really just me trying to make the situation better.
Exactly.
And it's like, we try to communicate this to each other, and things just weren't, because of that stress still that we were feeling for the year, really. It's just.
Do you think that I would have been better if I tried to think about what you were going through rather than what I was going through?
Yes.
Do you think it would have been better if you thought about what I was going through instead of what?
I did.
Listen now.
I did.
I think you really did, because you were trying to be positive, and the only reason you were trying to be positive is because you saw how stressed I was.
Yeah.
But do you think you could have done anything differently instead of being positive? Do you think that was the best way to handle that situation?
Yeah, because if I were negative, then what would that do? That'd make things worse, and then misery loves company. We'd both be miserable, even though we both weren't, in a great spot anyways. But it's like we would just have constant arguments all the time, and they weren't getting any better.
Yeah.
It's like you were stressed, I was stressed. It made it that easy for us to just take it out on each other, and we were trying to do things about it, trying to fix it, but it just wasn't really working, and it can just happen.
The thing is, I think the issue also was we never just had real conversations like this. We tried to, I feel like.
Yes.
We tried to talk,
Yes.
but it would never end the way we'd want it.
It
Am I
would
honest?
end us being upset. Yeah. Well, and we didn't live together at that time too, so a lot of them would be over text or like us on a phone call, which is very different than having an in-person conversation.
We need to have a whole episode on living together for the first time, because that was a trip on its own.
I agree.
But
Oh
anyways,
my goodness, yeah.
this
No, we
was-
could definitely talk about that.
this was just a very hard time, and I guess in this situation, it doesn't have to be this specific thing. It could be you just having a bad day. Let's say you're at work, something bad happens, you take that situation back home, right? Mm-hmm. And now you're frustrated, and the other person's just having a great time. They're just having a great time, and then you come home, and then you're all in a bad mood.
Yeah.
That person didn't do anything wrong, but then now they're going to be in the bad mood because you're in a bad mood.
Yes.
And then you'll be on the same wavelength, which is good news, right, Hallie?
No, it's not
Okay.
good. No, everyone, no. That is not what you want.
So how can you, the person that's dealing with the person that's in the bad mood, right? Mm-hmm. How can you support them?
Well, I think number one probably is having an open conversation about your feelings, maybe why you're having bad days.
The person's really angry. They don't want to talk to you. What do you do then?
Just think before you speak. Number one.
Okay.
That would be the most important. We've learned that time and time again. Think before you say anything, because something could really set them off, or something could really, make them feel better.
And this is for the person that's not in the bad mood. Now, let's say you're the person in the bad mood. How do you identify that you are in a bad mood, and how do you make sure that you're not going to take that out on your significant other?
If I feel angry, right? If I'm in a bad mood, but this is my communication style. My communication style is to not give you the silent treatment. I don't want to say that.
Leave the situation is how I'm listening to it.
But that's what I do.
That's
and
what
that's
you do.
how I try. That's my way of trying to isolate myself just for a little bit so I can, maybe try and formulate a nice conversation with you, and we can have, a good talk.
For me, I think I would really benefit from a punching bag.
I think that could be good. I think we should go.
I think going on exercising could be huge.
Exercise.
If you're the kind of person who can't walk away, which that's me, I think a really good idea is to exercise, whether it be doing some jumping jacks, going on a run, going on a walk,
a nice little walk, with no
finding
tech or anything.
Finding a punching bag, whether it be your significant other or I'm just kidding. Finding a punching bag.
Like some activity to maybe relieve your stress. Definitely something that I've done if I've had a long day, rough day. And I've cried it out on these walks too. I go on a walk, all right? Sometimes you just have to. And sometimes when you just get your heart rate up and you're moving and you're outside on a pretty day or whatever, that is so good for your soul. So soothing. and can really make things better.
It's always better after a walk. And
Oh my gosh, always. That's what we do whenever Suketu. Every time you're about to leave to go on a trip and you feel anxious, we go on a walk together.
Yeah.
And that's the best. We have such a great time, such a great conversation always.
always a good time when I go on a walk.
It helps so much.
Point
all
number
the time.
2 is to not hold a grudge. What does that mean, Hallie?
So let's say, okay, for example, you and I had a bad argument last week or something, right? Or you said something yesterday that I didn't like, or whatever. If I'm already in a bad mood, it's much easier to bring those things up and prolong the argument.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Just stop.
It's just going to make things way worse.
Yeah. Just like imagine a puppy dying if you do that.
Well, okay, well, God, that's extreme.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I was
So don't do it. Stop
just-
holding grudges.
Yeah, and it can be so hard too, because I'm definitely somebody that holds grudges. I'm really nice on the front, but like I don't ever forget things, and this is bringing me to my next
she
point.
doesn't.
Anyone, huh?
Nothing.
Huh?
I whispered into you.
Okay. Anyways, my next point, if anybody's seen Ted Lasso, one of the things that he says to one of the players on the team who I think he gets angry easily or whatever. He says, be a goldfish. And that's because goldfish have the shortest memory. They have like a 10-second memory. Just be a goldfish.
7-second memory.
So, okay, well,
But
I didn't
be
know
a
you're a
goldfish.
goldfish expert. Yeah.
Be a goldfish
Yes.
and then forget about it.
Yes. And
Right.
I mean, if you think about it that way, and it's, again, life is too short to hold, and I need to tell this to myself, but life is too short to hold grudges. Honestly, forget about it. I mean, if K2, like, I don't know, killed my dogs or something, then that would be a different conversation. But
be
for
bad.
dumb little arguments that we have, we all say things we don't mean. I just need to forget about it. And that's something that I'm learning as I'm getting older. It's so hard, but I'm trying. Especially in our relationship, too. Just forget things, because you obviously care about each other. Just forget about it. And then the last point that we want to make is love each other, care about each other, whatever, more than you could ever be angry with each other.
Yep.
That's a very important point that I think should be emphasized. Because at the end of the day, something stupid that you said, an argument that we had, a bad day we have, whatever, it's not worth hurting the person that you care about, right?
Definitely not.
No, because what good is going to come out of that? I mean, really, it's just going to make things worse. And again, I understand that there are all different kinds of bad days, that there's so many different things can happen, ranging on, a scale of nothing to very serious. But in my experience, the best thing you can do is just, in some cases, try and forget it about stupid things that were said, or just try and come together, work together, and just deal with it the best you can, and not take it out or be upset with your significant other or whoever it may be.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, those are our points on how to handle and support each other on the bad days. I hope this helped a little bit. I want to move into our last few sections, which is trivia and questions of the week.
Yes.
Are you guys ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask Hallie some trivia questions. Okay.
All right.
Now,
Please don't
these-
ask me any geography questions. I think we've learned that we should not do that.
I think I'm gonna not do that this time.
Yes.
So hopefully, it's a little better.
Okay.
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 All right. Number 1. This is a relationship quiz / trivia.
Okay.
So it might relate a little more to me.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Are they questions about you?
There are questions about me.
Like personal questions?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
I
it's-
like this already.
It's a little more about me. Okay.
Okay.
What is my favorite drink?
Apple juice.
Good job. Wow,
Yeah.
that was a good one. I'm going to ask her 3 questions and then she gets to ask me 3.
Okay.
What's one thing I wish I was better at?
Like, in what sense? What?
In a skill, like skill-wise. What do you think I wish I was better at?
Swimming?
No. I listen, everybody. I'm not the best swimmer in the world. Okay?
Skate, you got a C in his swimming class, everyone?
I'll give you 4 options.
Oh, 4. Okay.
Okay. Editing, running, public speaking,
No, you're good at that.
and cooking.
Probably editing.
You think I want to be better at editing?
Editing and like making videos. You always say you want to be better at that.
That is the correct answer.
Ah, woo! I know you so well. Oh my gosh.
What's one thing you think I wish I had more of?
Confidence.
Okay. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
But not
Money?
Yes. Let's go.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, that's my 3
What
questions.
a man answer to have.
You can go through these.
What do you think are some of the biggest things that have influenced the person that I've become?
Well, I think your parents is one, and me is the other.
Okay. Besides people, include Sylvie, because Sylvie's a huge part.
And I think going to college was huge. Getting a job, working.
Yes. I would agree.
Am I going the right direction? What else?
Yeah, I don't know. Just anything else in my life. I just want to know the answer, that's why.
I think that's all I have to say. That's kind of what shaped you. You have to know the answer, and then you tell me if I'm right or right.
No, I think that's good. I think that's good.
Okay.
I just want to
Do another question.
Okay. Okay. If I could change one thing about myself, what do you think that would be?
About you?
Yeah.
Being more confident.
Okay.
Am I wrong? What would you do? What would you change?
That's part of it. See, the thing is, I'm confident with Suketu, but anything else, I get nervous. I don't know. But then what else? I just told you something that I would change about myself.
Oh, decision making.
No.
Okay, then what is it? What is it? You tell
My
me.
voice.
Oh, your voice. Oh my God. Guys, can you tell Hallie how beautiful her voice is?
No,
Please.
it's not.
Please, come on. She always says that she wished she could change her voice. But I'm like,
I'm
listen.
very self-conscious about it.
It's a good voice.
It's a good voice.
It's a great voice.
You have a great voice.
I do not.
Yeah,
But-
you're good. Like when you speak, it sounds good. My voice, I think just I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. It fluctuates so much.
I like
and
it.
it doesn't
It's
look
good.
like it. I don't know that it looks like it matches what would come out of me. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I've never
Okay.
liked it.
I
and
think
I
it's
can't
great.
sing either. I can't. Okay.
If you've gotten this far, just make sure you comment, Hallie, you have a great voice. Okay, so next question.
All right. I have like 2 more that I want to ask you. Is that fine?
That's fine.
Okay. How much do they focus on personal development and self-improvement?
In a scale of 1 to 10, I would say Hallie's about a 3.
Are you joking? Really?
What? I don't think she focuses on herself enough. She cares a lot about other people, and sometimes that can get in the way of personal development.
You don't think I develop myself at all? Are you nuts?
A 3 is pretty good.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Okay, 4. Listen, I think
10
you could,
being the most.
yeah.
Like,
I think
health,
you could-
fitness-wise, I don't care about
No,
myself.
I think health and fitness wise, you're up to that 4.
I'm
you got a little bit.
shocked right now.
You got a little left.
What? You know, I give you like a -5.
Oh my goodness.
Because that's not fair. See, my voice cracked.
What do you think you would be?
I always try and
development-wise.
improve myself.
No, I think you do too.
Oh, you do? So that's why you gave me a 3?
I gotta be a 4.
A 4? That's
But
literally
you
an
got
F.
work to do, I think.
Are you joking? I can't actually tell if you're joking.
No, I think personal development wise, you definitely you work out a lot, you eat good food, and you do that really well. But I think there's one
I'm trying to
area
sleep and take care of my whole
I think physical
everything.
like wise, yeah, I think you do a really good job. But there's one area that you could improve in.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Like in terms of, we can talk about it another time. I don't want to get in trouble, is what it is.
Do you guys hear this?
Let me just change my answer.
You know what? How about everybody listening, watching, whatever, ask the person you're closest to this question and see what they say. You might be surprised at what they have to say. I truly am. Next question. I don't even know if I want to ask it anymore. I don't
What is
know.
it?
Do they think more with their head or their heart? How do they make decisions?
Hallie thinks way more with her heart,
It's a curse.
and it's definitely a curse. She has a very big heart. You know, the Grinch?
big.
She's the opposite of the Grinch. And I think her heart might be the biggest organ in her body, bigger than the skin. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying. A lot of blood pumping in there.
I do agree with that. I definitely have a problem with that because I'm too nice to people sometimes and they don't deserve it. And why should I do that? It always hurts me. It doesn't make any sense.
I think that you should be meaner.
Well, I don't want to be, but like, I don't want to, that's just not who I am.
It's a dog-eat-dog world.
I mean, you're not wrong, I guess. I've never heard you say that before. Okay.
All right, I think it's time to move on to questions of the week.
Yes, and we got some good questions this week.
Before we start, I have questions that we haven't put down. I want to get those out of the way so we can answer the questions we actually have listed. How did you two meet and who asked out who?
Oh.
This is a question by Harsh.
Okay. We met during August of 2015. We were both so I was managing the guys cross country team. Suketu was on the guys cross country team. And literally he came up to me one day. We'd never had a conversation before. And he said, "Are you that weird girl?" I mean, like, I came back from a really long run. I was disgusting. And he comes up to me and I'm like, "Why is this guy coming over to me? Get away from me." And he said, "Hey, are you that weird girl from track?" I was like, "What?" And Sylvie's on the table.
Sylvie, get down.
And I'm not kidding. He said, "I'm kidding." And I was like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah.
Who is he?
How we met, but I am the one who asked her out.
Oh, yeah, he did ask me out. We started hanging out as friends, and then you asked me out.
That's going to be a whole episode.
A month later.
Best part about being in college, asked by Isabel.
Oh. You make good friends when you're in college.
That is 100%. The social aspect of college is 100% the best part of college. The whole education piece can go down a ditch.
Yeah, forget about that. I wasn't there for school. I mean, I was there for school, don't get me wrong. But I was there really for the fun stuff. And Suketu and I went to the same school. So we were together so much. And shout out my bestie Christina. She's from IUPUI. And yeah, we met there. We started working together. We had a class together. You just meet so many awesome people. And just, you make so many good memories. And I was only there for 3 years because I graduated in 3 years. Suketu took 4.
Okay.
But definitely the social aspect.
Yes. So
much fun.
Question from Darak. And this is a question for both of us. Mm-hmm. Suketu, was Hallie your first girlfriend? And if so, before you met Hallie, did you feel like there was no one out there for you, like feeling lonely?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a good question.
I really do like that question because when I met Hallie, I was like, I'm not going to date anybody. I'm just done.
You've gotten out of a relationship before that.
I did, and I just wanted to not be in a relationship. That was my goal. And then Hallie had to come out of nowhere, and I ended up being in a relationship. So I think at that time, I was like, I want to be lonely. I want to be alone and not have to worry about anyone.
You want to, just focus on you.
So
understand.
I guess in the sense of feeling like there was no one out there for you, I felt that when I was a little bit younger. Like I was like, oh, why would anybody want to be with me? It didn't make sense to me. But after meeting Hallie, it changed. And so I'm not a good person to ask like how being lonely is, because I feel like I haven't been lonely in a long time. So it's like hard to remember that.
Well, yeah. And I was kind of in the same boat because I had just gotten out of something and I was like, I don't want a boyfriend. I don't want to be with anybody, whatever. And then literally a month later, 2 months later, Suketu and I met. Yeah. And then we just quickly became really good friends. I think we had a lot in common. We both, it's funny, I don't know if we ever talked about it, but we both didn't want anything with anybody. And then here we are. And that was 8 years ago almost. So
yeah, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Last question from Liam Pinheiro. He asks, Suketu, would you rather let Hallie spend your money however she wants, or have Hallie be a horrible cook? This is an easy answer for me, everybody. It would be let Hallie spend the money however I want. I would have said B. Look. I would have said B if I didn't realize if Hallie was a horrible cook, then we'd have to eat out all the time, wasting a lot more money on food. So if I let Hallie
So
spend
dramatic.
however she wants, there's no way that could be as much as food. Because food nowadays is so much money that it hurts my soul. Does that make sense?
I think that's a good answer. That's
Yeah.
a great question, Liam. So I think that proves that I'm. Let's go shopping.
Yep. Time to go to Target, everybody. Hallie, would you like to close us out now, I guess?
Those were some great questions. I really like those. So thank you guys for listening. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and also subscribe if you're on a podcast service. Lastly, just go ahead and share with your friends, family, and fellow cha drinkers. We will catch you next Monday at 12:30 cha.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
Woo!